Hi, and welcome to Three Questions with. Got my buddy John Younger with us from Assisted Living Locators. Hey, John, welcome to the show.
Hey, Kevin, thanks for having me. Nice to see you.
So, John, the question I have for everyone right now is when I'm talking to them is how is everything going on impacting your business?
Right, great question. Certainly, being assisted living locator, being somebody who helps people choose the safest and healthiest environment to send their, to have a loved one live in, very impacted back in the early days of the COVID virus. March, April, May, June, people were staying home, which was the best decision to make. People were calling me and asking me questions, and I was just kind of keeping people up to date via the phone and a couple of Zoom calls, just to kind of, you know, coach people through this whole situation and what to expect when the buildings started opening up. Of course, they were all shut down as well, so nobody was moving anywhere. Since then, probably within the past couple of months, as the assisted living communities are reopening with much safer protocols and much healthier environments. They are open to touring. They are open to conversations. They are open to bringing people in in a very careful manner. So my business was impacted mainly during the spring, but now that it's come time where folks have to go back to work, they are no longer able to really keep as close an eye on their loved one as they were before because of other distractions like homeschooling or whatnot, or even having to physically go back to work. I'm starting to get more people who are, okay, what's assisted living? How are they making things work? I gotta go, help me out.
Sure. But obviously the process has changed too, though, right? Of
Right,
how you
right.
can
So
just maybe not get to visit all of them that you might want to visit or something like that.
right. So my process has changed a lot. Um, Meaning that I usually go on the tour with the families to help them.
Sure.
I often can't go on the tours because they're limiting the tours to like maybe one family member or two people. So I'm coaching these folks either through Zoom or mostly on the phone, again, with help, telling them about a couple of places that might make sense to go and set the tour up on their own because they know their schedule better than I do. And that's my favorite part of this, of what I do, is going on the tours with the families. I can't do that. So I'm readjusting that by being the coach on the phone. And some of the other things that clients are asking me about is visiting their family members. There was a time, and I think it's still going on in certain like hospitals and skilled nursing facilities, where you still, as a family member, can't go visit. Now, fortunately, we've had nice weather and they can do visits outside. It still has to be scheduled, but now the next challenge is what happens when the weather gets cold.
So, John, I would imagine people are still concerned about protocols. Like you mentioned, hey, will I be allowed to go visit my loved one? How do I feel comfortable that you're going to keep my loved one safe? I must hear a lot
Right,
of that.
right. So some of the biggest changes I've seen for protocols and how the folks are being well taken care of in healthy in the assisted living environment is certainly there are the Purell stations set up all over the place, so you can always sticking your hand under that
Mm.
to sanitize. The masks are being worn. The staff members, some of them, will be wearing the PPE equipment to keep their the potential germination of of the virus from happening. It's constant reminders of hand washing, constant reminders of wearing the mask. They now have professional cleaners that come in and do the fog type spray. When it comes to eating now, the dining rooms are pretty much open, but what they've done is they're physically distancing. So you've got tables spread out among the dining room, and you probably only have two chairs. So only two people are sitting at each end of the table. So you're getting that socialization, but you're getting that safely.
Makes perfect sense. So, John, just walk us through a little bit about exactly what you do, and for people who may not be familiar with it, how you're going out and helping them choose the right assisted living center for them. Just walk us through the
Great,
process.
great. So once I'm able to connect with a family, what happens is we'll talk on the phone or in person. I prefer in person, but you make adjustments, and we'll talk about the medical issues. We'll talk about the financial issues. We'll talk about geographically, because there I work with 252 different assisted livings in Eastern Massachusetts.
Wow.
That's a lot of assisted livings.
Hmm.
Fortunately, I've spent some time getting to know all of them, and so I know their ins and outs. So when I'm talking with a family, we're only going to talk about 2 or 3 places. We're not going to talk about the 12 that are within 2 miles of where they live, because it doesn't make sense to do that.
Right.
By asking all those questions of medical, financial, geographical, what did you do growing up? What do you like to do? I'm able to connect them to the right place. So we're limiting that. Instead of a dozen places, we're limiting it down to 2 or 3. Unfortunately, for people who don't find me, I may get a call later on going, hey, we've been to 12 places. We don't know what to do.
Yep.
So
That's
my
good.
role is to help them navigate that whole process and bring that 12 places down to 2 or 3.
So, John, how can people reach out to you? How can they learn more?
The best way to learn more, the best way is to give me a call on my cell phone, 508 878 8878. That is the best way to get a hold of me.
John, I really appreciate taking a few minutes to jump on the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it.